Mary, Mary, Mary.
And there was a man with red hair. In September, there was a town and a circus.
Charlie Sparks, owner, operator, Sparks world famous shows. You want to run a circus, always keep it about the money. That's what my daddy taught me back when we stayed up till midnight counting pennies in the big car. Back when Sparks was his, always keep it about the money. Or you may have a dream of having a crowd leap to its feet, clamor with one voice, Sparks, Sparks, Sparks. A dream of joining the Pantheon, Ringling, Barnum, Bailey, Sparks. But be careful, you're the ringmaster. Dreams aren't for you. Dreams are for rubbernecks. Dreams are for suckers.
Irwin, the town that couldn't remember its own name. True story. Supposed to be named Irvin after some rich fella. Postmaster messed up. Spelled it E-R-W-I-N instead. Nobody remembered to fix it. Yup, that's Irwin for ya.
I live things. Heavy. Anything. This gets me on going. This gets me to a man. This gets me to circus.
Never been nowhere. Work a steam shovel down to the old rail yard. Dig holes all day. One hole after another. People say we might go to war with the Kaiser. I'd be the first to sign up. Ooh-wee, what a patriotic young man. Hell, ain't patriotic, just bored.
Ballet girl. Ballet girl. Ballet girl. Can't dance. Practically old enough to have a girl of my own by now, but ballet girl it is. Not a show girl, a ballet girl. Substitute ballet for show, and I'm not a scandal. I'm an artist. I'm not a temptress in tights, I'm a dancer. We walk the wire, we ballet girls, between decency and lewdness. I have to find my balance, the name's to start, and then the smile of an innocent flower, spotless, pristine, blameless. That's me from head to toe.
Mud. Yellow mud. Everywhere.
Boardwalks help some? Not enough. Always scraping it off your shoes. Enough to drive a person crazy, all that scraping. Buried 2 kids in the mud. Husband, mud trying to swallow me up, swallow this whole town up. God's punished us for something. Take another flood to wash Irwin clean.
I finished putting up the Irwin Evergreen Free Will Church in July. Turns out I might have been a bit optimistic about how many rows of pews I needed. Gets a little quiet on Sundays. Love, forgiveness, joy. I'll keep on testifying, but there's nothing longer than a New Testament preacher in an Old Testament town.
It's love. Feed her, wash her, sleep with her. Hell, at the end of the day, I even have a drink with her. Pour some whiskey in her bucket, mix it with some water. She loves it. Sticks her trunk right in, it's gone in a second. I'm lucky to live a long time. If you play your cards right, you've got a friend for life.
Can use more friends, I guess. Play with my sister Ellie. Skip stones at trains.
Read Tarzan books?
Need something.
Read them right before bed.
Gives me the best dreams.
Too old. Melania. Kids laugh easy peasy. And we Joeys give kids more than laughs, give them perspective. A lesson to carry forever. Biggie that there's always someone worse off than you. Except for us. Nothing below a clown. They all pull ranks, even the ballet girls. We're the last ones to get the makeup mirror, even though we use the most makeup. Let me put it this way. How many ringmasters does it take to change a light bulb? None. They tell the clowns to do it.
Irwin, rising taller every year. Best this country has to offer. Peaceful. Keep it that way. Folks around here honest, law-abiding. Ain't folks around here fear I worry about is the strangers. It's that damn train station.
All the traveling from town to town, all the firing, hiring, me. Firing happens all the time. Fella's lucky he gets fired in one of the towns during a stop. I'm lucky he gets red lighted. Tossed off our train while it's moving. Sucker don't see nothing but the red lights of the caboose as it fades away. And hiring. Yeah, do a lot of that too. Circus needs plenty of muscle. And not just in the ring. Townies get out of line now and then. Want to prove they're tougher than a strong man, get fresh with a ballet girl. Now Spark sees any funny business, she calls out the hey rube. Now I gotta teach every new hire. They hear that hey rube, they drop whatever they're doing and defend their own. And that's just a tip. I've gotta keep track of everything. People, animals, lumber, hell. We're like a little town of our own carrying all our buildings in our backs.
It was September, and there was a town, and a circus, and a railroad.
The railroad invented time in this country. Before us was chaos. Every town in America declaring its own new, and every clock for itself. People set clocks to the sun, like cavemen. We came along, we changed all that. See, time isn't relative, time is precise. Time isn't gray, it's black and white. In the circus, they favored our proclamation. For us, circus traveled by wagon, limped into town any hour of the day, covered in mud and hog-scat. We came along, we changed all that. They could depend on us. See, we're the metronome. We're the click-clack, click-clack, click-clack that lulls them off to sleep at night. Men, horses, elephants, they all sleep with us in their ears. Click-clack, 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 like a second hand on time, always on time. And Irwin? Without us, time will pass them by. See, not every town gets a train station. With a station, Irwin might stand out, become something special, get a ribbon around its neck. Industry, progress, we can bring it all to their doorstep. Without us, Irwin will just be another tiny town in Tennessee, a town nobody's heard of. The circus, Irwin, they have our guarantee. You can depend on the railroad.
It was September, and there was a town.
There was a circus.
There was a railroad.
And there was an elephant.
Mary.
We dreamed her before we saw her. She was plastered on every telephone pole.
Every fence post.
Every barn door.
September.
The circus was coming
She was coming.
To our muddy town.
It was all there, in black and white.
And color, it said.
Ladies and gentlemen, shows of all ages, Sparks world famous shows, a show that never broke a
moral,
promise.
entertaining, instructive.
25 years of honest dealing with the public.
Proudly presents a tremendous exhibition of wealth and splendor.
All new for 1916. Mary, the largest living land animal on Earth.
Death-defying feats of skill and damage.
Carried over 5
2
tons.
packs of man-killing lions.
Eddie, 3 inches taller than Jumbo.
5,000 feet.
Mary, guaranteed at every performance.
And a free street parade every day at noon. Mary,
Mary.
Mary,
Mary.
Mary, 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 Mary.
An elephant is an investment. You open up your pocketbook, throw down $8 grand, don't think about it again. Simple. You've got the trade seals, the track leads, the strong man. Fine. But they aren't your bread and butter. No rubberneck comes to a circus doesn't have an elephant. Now strike that. No rubberneck comes to a circus doesn't have a big elephant. Ever since Barnum and that damn Jumbo. Jumbo was big, yes, he was big. The biggest. Not as big as the freight train that hit him, but big. Now Barnum understood investments. Sued the train company for insurance, pocketed that, turned around and paraded the stuffed corpse across the country, charged money for that. Until it started to fall apart, till he couldn't rightly call what he had left an elephant. Till he was parading around a 10-ton ghost.
They love a parade. All elephants do in the wild anyways. Walk around. Wild elephant herd follows the leader. And the leader is always the biggest female of that here. So they all marched behind Mary. Shadrach, Penny, Sue, little Mabel, one behind the other, trunk wrapped around the tail in front of her. All females, easier that way. Males go into heat. They go nuts. It's not worth the trouble. Easier to stick with the women. I take a stroll with my gals. Let me tell you, the only thing better than being in the elephant parade is leading the elephant parade. And the only thing better than leading the elephant parade is sitting on top of the elephants. A dream, sitting on top of my own personal mountain, on top of Mary, legs wrapped around her back, head in the clouds.
Impressive, no? No? So, tell me, I do not cost her much. I am not as temperamental. I do not shit all over the stage. So tell me, please, have the courtesy to inform me, why is the elephant the star of the show?
My name, my smile, they buy me wiggle room. Wiggle room I need. Because once I'm decreed safe, nothing more than a wholesome ballet girl, then I add the elephant. 5 tons of gray flesh bearing me half naked into the ring, wrapped up tightly in its trunk. That's right, the innocent object of desire wrapped in a dingling 10 feet long. And the best part, that trunk is always up. Bad luck to let a trunk droop in the circus. First thing an elephant learns. Oh, I'm never more sensual, powerful, dangerous than when I'm with Mary. Keep your spangles, your headdress, your makeup. Diamonds? Diamonds are nothing. An elephant is a girl's best friend.
They're not just for show. Hardest workers I got. Shorty acts like that's not part of the job description, but once that train stops in a town, they're mine. Get it to load and unload the boxcars, push up the tent poles. Those sons of bitches can do anything.
Nobody looks down on the elephants, right? They don't have to put on makeup and play the dope to get applause. They're too mighty to ever be made humble, too strong to ever be broken, too big to ever be laid low. And Mary's the biggest we Joey's ever seen, so we love her the most.
So when an opportunity comes along, you want to ask too many questions. Ringling says he has a tusker for 8,000. You don't probe. You don't wonder why she's suddenly not worth so much. Well, it could be anything. Maybe panicked one night. Maybe ran out of the ring. Maybe hurt somebody. Maybe. Here's the thing. Doesn't matter. She's big enough. Doesn't matter what she did. You change her name to, say, Mary. And guess what? You've got yourself a brand new star. Listen, an elephant is not its actions. An elephant isn't cute, isn't a friend, isn't a symbol for something else. An elephant is an elephant. And an elephant is an investment.
It was September and there was a town and a circus and a railroad and an elephant and oh! Last but not least, there was a man with red hair.
Kingsport. The menfolk loved us in Kingsport. And I mean loved us. Joey's had to mop up all the drool afterwards. Mary and I triumphantly exited the tent after our act to a chorus of catcalls.
Tennessee started off with a bang. We killed him in Kingsport. Now, circus can always tell how it goes by how many locals want to run away with it after. 15? That was a record. 10 of them were 6 or 7 years old, went back to mommy. But we were all right. Big, tough, could be of help with the next day route.
I was giving Mary a celebratory smooch when this tall guy came out of the shadows and started walking towards me, mouth open like he was hypnotized. Had these intense blue eyes and red hair. I put on an innocent smile and started looking around for muscle in case the guy was trouble. Nobody else in sight. I kept smiling, ready to run. And then I saw it. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at Mary. I let out my breath. Guy was about 25 or so, but he looked like a kid while he stared at her. That glow reminded me of when I started out. I asked him what I could could do for him, and he pointed at Mary and said, "Hey, I want to join up. How do I join up?"
How Ballet brought over this guy. Hilarious. Shocker red hair. Like a clown. 1 foot in the circus already. And I tell him I got lots of newbies to choose from. Lots of first of Mays. Why pick him? Tells me he's good with animals. And I say, alright, good with animals. How are you at shoveling up their shit? Flinches. Then he says, fine. And I steer him over to the horses. And he says, no. I want to work with the elephants. I have to work with the elephants. And I tell him, your funeral, Red. Elephant shit's the heaviest shit there is.
Blue walked by with this red-haired man, another beanpole, another First of May. Why bother hiring these people?
First of May walks by a blue. Red hair, about 25, 6. Uh-oh, trouble, 25? I tell him to stick out his tongue and say, aha. Diagnosis, circus fever, terminal case. The guy blushes and Blue laughs and pulls him towards Shorty's car. He's got the fever all right, but a little late. A grown man following a kid's dream?
Blue knocks on my car door. Tells me I've got a new roommate. Some goofy-looking, red-haired guy. I tell him it's crowded enough in here with 5 elephants. But he insists. Tells me Red is my new partner. I don't like partners. Partners don't have the patience. Some First of May who has it in his head he's going to be a big Tusker trader. My gals deserve better. They deserve me. I'm not going to be a jerk about it. I sure read his corner and he brags about the smell. You get used to it. Counties think elephants smell bad in the ring. Try sleeping with one in a box car. He shuts up when he sees Mary. Looks at her like she's the answer to all his problems. Look, I don't know what's wrong with the guy. If he's a nut, or soft in the head, or what. But in any case, I'm not going to turn my back on him. I may not be big, but if Red makes one wrong move, it's getting the red light.
Shorty, poor sap wanted to bite my head off. Slammed the door and the train started up. We left Kingsport for Irwin. On time.
Once you start moving, Lou comes into your car, tells you your advancement and hard back some good news. Says Irwin hasn't seen a circus in years. Now that is what you want to hear. See, whether it knows it or not, Irwin's been saving up. Irwin's been starving for cotton candy, popcorn, pink lemonade, whatever your candy butchers can shovel into their kissers. See, towns like Irwin are gold, where your elephant becomes what she was born to. A 5-ton cash register.
Clack, click, clack through the night. Their boxcars, our engine, our rails. Irwin is waiting. We will not disappoint. We depend on the railroad. Dig, dig, dig. 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 Lunch. Dig. 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 Dinner. Home. Drink. Tired. Drink. Eat. Drink. Nothing. Drink. Nothing. Nothing. Drink. Drink. Whistle. Elephant. Circus.
Ellie woke me up at 4 a.m. I cussed her and I thought we was going to be late. Peeped in at our folks, still sleeping. Snuck out the winter run as fast as we could to the field where they do it. We were all there, all the kids know it. They're watching set up the big top. The greatest free show on earth. Trains whistled, lights streamed, man and animals hopped out of every door. Everybody marched around, seemed to know what they was doing, except this record guy. Yeah, he kept bumping into stuff and tripping on ropes. People yelling at him, and his face turned as red as his hair. Funny, like a clown. Then this big elephant came out. I about pissed myself. Bigger than the one we saw a few years back, lots bigger. Never saw nothing this big. It made this big, pissed ourselves. The men rode the main tent pole and set it right between that thing's eyes.
And it moved on forward. Boom, boom, boom. Pushed the pole up in the air and stopped higher and higher and higher. Holding that pole up there and then fixed in place.
It was like a dream. Loud dream, I guess. Full of hammering and pounding and cursing.
Like watching time city get built in 2 hours. That's about my favorite part of the circus.
Watching him set up, that's a parade.
He was really looking forward to that parade. About 9 a.m. Ringmaster cleared the road with me. Told me to get the horses away. And spook the elephants. Yes, ma'am, whatever you want, ma'am. Main Street will hold its horses. Hell, not enough. I gotta let the circus come to town and pick the pockets of all of us. I gotta roll up the red carpet for them when they do it. Got myself a soda pop in front of her spot. Girl never knows how many drakes she's got left in her. Have to make each one count.
Glad I got there when I did. It was early, but street was filling up. James. Was there for James and the kids. They always loved the circus parade.
It was his childhood dream. I sure read how to feed her. Groom her. That was it. That was all he knew.
That red came up to me right before the Irwin parade started. Asked me real polite like.
One day. What the hell can you learn in one day? At anything.
Chance to get Shorty all worked up.
In India, a guy stays with an elephant his whole life. Like a goddamn marriage. Here Lou waltzes in and says,
Big deal, Shorty. Red wants to ride Mary in the march. Back off and give the new guy a chance.
I'm thinking no. No. He can ride Little Mabel. Maybe Shadrach, but Mary?
You're on Shadrach, Red's on Mary. Is that a problem?
I should have said something. I should have told him. She was mine.
He didn't say nothing.
I didn't say nothing. Just made a face. That was my big protest. A face.
I kiss her on that guy.
It's trust. Trust you build up over years, not one day. It's every peanut, every pat on the trunk, every bat. It's trust. It's love. But Red didn't have time for any of that. Red had a parade to lead.
So, Shorty's on Shadrach, but he still has to make the call. They won't start moving for anyone but him.
Trunks up!
I opened the doors and the steps of the church were thick with people. Faces I'd never seen before. I was looking to thank Jesus for answering my prayers. People weren't trying to get in though. The steps were just the best place to face out. They provided a little height. All there, whole town was not in the street. White, colored, man, woman, child, all there, glowing their eyes, waiting to see a miracle. Well, if I couldn't provide their glow on Sundays, at least there was something I could.
Right down Main Street. Our Main Street.
Had the day off from the shovel. Everyone had the day off. Circus day.
Ellie and we were about pissing ourselves. Elephants, clowns, tigers, all bucking down our Main Street through our yellow mud.
Made everyone look like something for once.
I could hear the brass band and bass drum for miles. Mud on all of them circus folk. Hems of their dresses, tails of their coats.
Colors you never dreamed of.
So long, stretched on forever. Elephant had urban mud all over it.
Our yellow town gone all purple and silver and red.
The big elephant was leading the whole thing. That goofy guy, red hair, he was up on her back. Mary, 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 Mary.
Hogs. Hogs must have been spooked something terrible to act like that. Those piggies are used to the life of riding, just grunting up and down Main Street, eating whatever falls to the ground, or with garbage collectors. But not that day. That day a band was playing, people rushing out, circus plowing through the middle of our town. No way them hogs ain't scared. Irwin Garbage Department on strike until further notice. Clean up your own garbage, people of Irwin. We on strike. Thus, the hogs left the prize, left the holy grail of garbage untouched in the mud. A juicy chunk of watermelon. And that's when the dominoes started falling. Elephant sees melon. Elephant walks towards melon. Elephant rider turns red. Elephant rider encourages elephant to abandon melon. Elephant ignores elephant rider. Elephant rider is most insistent, to the tune of elephant hook across elephant head. Elephant keeps walking towards melon. Elephant holds up parade. Elephant rider turns red. Elephant rider breaks elephant hook across elephant tusk. The elephant thinks, decides she's had enough of Elephant Rider. Elephant picks Elephant Rider off Elephant back with Elephant Trunk. The Elephant Trunk throws Elephant Rider into Soda Pop stand. Elephant Rider groans in the rubble. Elephant Rider thinks it's over. Elephant Rider's wrong. Elephant walks over to Elephant Rider and puts Elephant Foot on Elephant Rider head. Elephant Rider screams. And Elephant Foot steps on down. Elephant Rider head explodes like a melon. Elephant Rider turns red. Elephant walks away. Elephant Rider don't. Elephant, free of Elephant Rider, strolls on over and helps herself with some melon. Simple. Parade stops, man dies, elephant turns killer. All for a melon. All for the want of the hog. Nothing. Thing didn't flinch. Somebody screamed. Townsfolk ran off in a panic. Couldn't do nothing but stand there, hold my empty pop gun. And that thing kept eating the melon, ripping apart its little snack with that poor man's crushed head sat next to it, all opened up and bleeding. Ringmaster ran up and told me we'll settle this later. I told her, yes, we will. Then a little guy led that thing back to the fairgrounds with some carnies carted that leaping fellow off in one of them animal cages. Quiet for a minute, like nothing happened. Hogs came back, then people. Most of them were crying. A few were laughing at me.
Folks lined up again, 3 deep on the street, waiting for someone to tell them what to do. I opened the doors to the church, but no one came in.
There was a pool of blood and brains in front of the post office.
I heard his head crack open again. In my head, sharper ones and softer ones, one after another. Crack, 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 crack. She stepped on his skull, crushed it, sent another body into the mud. Crack, crack. Town's curse.
No one.
Heard that fellow was from Kingsport.
Ellie thought she knew him. Could have been any of us.
Carl said she killed 2 men in Virginia.
7 men. 18.
Right on Main Street!
You can't just do that, can it? Go around killing people?
Our Main Street!
Tarzan would have stopped her. Tarzan would have jumped in her bag and stabbed her in the eye and gouged out her brain.
Right on Main Street!
Ivory eye, and maybe God will stop punishing us.
Our Main Street!
Main Street.
Our Main Street!
Right on Main Street.
Our Main Street!
Right on Main Street.
It could have ended there, but that wouldn't have been right. That wouldn't have been justice. Now maybe my pistol didn't mean squat to that thing, but god damn it, we'd find something that would. It wasn't walking away from this. Irwin, don't look kindly upon murderers. Crowd breaks up and follows the marshal to the saloon. Hogs and me stand in the doorway. Hear talk, lots of talk. Talk about public menace. Talk about what you do with rabid dogs. Talk about what's right and wrong. Hogs and me look at each other. They run, walk off. I do the same.
I stared at the steps. Oh, the empty steps. Walked into the church and let the doors swing shut behind me. Standing on the promises that cannot fail, when the howling storms of doubt and fear assail, by the living word of Christ I shall prevail. Standing on the promises of God.
Tried to get in touch with Red's family. Friends? Didn't have none.
Like he didn't exist except for us. Like he wasn't born to do anything but cause us trouble.
Poor kid.
He did not understand. You were on top of her, but she is a strong one. Not you.
Us Joey said a few words, then buried him at the fairground.
You still have a show to do that night. Must go on. Doors!
Nah, I told Charlie maybe we should keep Mary out. Maybe the people would forget. But she told me what I already knew.
They won't forget. They're coming to see the circus. They're coming to see the killer.
She was right. Would have been a riot if we kept her away.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Sparks' world-famous shows proudly presents...
Normal night we play up the danger, talk up the toothless tiger, but not this time. This time we brought Mary out like she was the most innocent of God's creatures. Now I'm thinking, look at her. Look at her. She's just a big, dumb animal. Can we all agree on that? All the Irwins here under one big tent. This ain't no killer. Please.
The two of us riding into the ring didn't usually get a gasp, but circumstances have changed. I tried to draw the crowd's attention away from Mary. I licked my lips, tossed my hair, and threw myself up there like a 2-cent whore. Nothing. Their trousers stayed creased. I was playing to a tent full of eunuchs. Fine. Forget about lust then. Innocence would win the day. Look at me, all of you. Here I am, all wrapped up, all cuddled up in the very tread that did the deed. And am I scared? Am I trembling? I am smiling. Smiling. The brightest beams of white forgiveness I could until I thought the corners of my lips would crack open and gush blood all over the sawdust. But it didn't work. Those people weren't here to forgive. They stood up and pelted us with popcorn, and then they made this sound.
Listen to that. It comes true. Your dreams come true. In a tiny town in Tennessee, crowd leaps to its feet, speaks with one voice, shakes the air, makes it tremble. Well, it's not the sparks, sparks, sparks that you dreamed of, but oh, they scream till their lungs ache. Young and old united in one glorious moment of certainty. Their scream, their chant, their heart's greatest wish. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it.
People around us are throwing stuff at them. So Ellie, meanwhile, on cotton candy and baseball, tossing as hard as we could. The Marshal was giving away the guns around. Everybody was shouting, all except the colored section.
Don't need to say nothing. Irwin don't give you no vote. Just keep your mouth shut.
Then the clowns started talking. Never knew clowns would talk.
No, raise our lights. Part of the circus, he knew the risks. This doesn't concern you. How does it no play here? Military has some importance. The circus part of appeal.
Then this little guy came out.
She was favoring the left eye. They have nerves in there. Big ones. I saw him. You all saw him. Hitting her with that hook. Whacking the spit out of it. Trying to get her to behave. To stay in line. She stopped. What else was she supposed to do? She stopped.
The Marshal and the new preacher stood up.
These carnies can talk all they want. We know what we've seen. And the people of Irwin demand.
No, we don't. Don't stand there all huffed up with false pride and tell me that the people of Irwin demand this elephant die. Because I don't. Or add that in if you want. Say the people of Irwin minus the preacher. But it doesn't have the same ring, does it? And that minus doesn't have the same power. But you have to find some way to leave me out of this. I'm a person, God knows. But I am not the people. I am not.
We know what we see. And the people of Irwin demand justice.
Yes, the destroyer of that farmland. And he started shouting, Ringmaster.
Sparks! Call it, Sparks! Call the Hebrew!
But the Ringmaster didn't do nothing.
They want to know? Let loose the lion! The tiger! The evidence want to know who's stronger? I will crush them! The straw hats! They're beauty jets! Call it, Sparks! Call the Hebrew! Call it!
Finally, the Ringmaster raised her hand. And everything got quiet.
Now, $8,000 is a lot to lose. It's a lot to lose in a hick of a town in the middle of nowhere. But investments get tricky when the people want blood. And it's not just Irwin. Your advance men wire back for your upcoming stops. Johnson City, Rogersville, Indian Ridge. Your circus isn't welcome until that elephant is taken care of. So, is she still worth the 8,000? Is she still worth anything? You could try selling her off to another circus when no one's looking. Make back part of your money anyway. Yeah, but people are always looking. And elephants don't just disappear. The people know what they've seen. And they know what they want. And you? Well, you know what your daddy would do. So you do it. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the circus understands. The circus understands your wishes. This merry matter will be settled to your liking tomorrow. And we are open to suggestions.
We had the answer. We always had the answer. At first, they choose us to listen to the whisper of our rails, and the Marshal knew shooting it with a pistol hadn't worked. So, talked about getting a rifle, better yet, a Civil War cannon in the nearby museum. Click-clack, wrong track. We whispered louder. So, talked about electrocuting it, frying it, like some of them had seen in that motion picture Thomas Edison made. Now that was copycat stuff. That wasn't dreaming big enough. We whispered louder. Would not be ignored. And somebody finally heard us. The rail yard. There's a crane there that can lift 100 tons, says someone on the side of it. Right there in black and white. See, nothing gray can stand up to that much black and white. Now, something like that could do something special. Something never heard before. Why, something like that could hang her. Hang her like any other murderer. See, she may be big, but the railroad crane is bigger. Crane will get the job done. Crane will do the trick. Crane is the railroad after all, and you can always depend on the railroad.
Heinous would be fine, I guess. Still think the cannon would have been better.
After not, Ern will finally be clean.
I've never believed it. Irwin is the place to be tomorrow. Ain't nobody else. I mean nobody. Nobody else in the world is hanging an elephant tomorrow. So that's something. That's something we got. And you want to see it? You get off your fat ass and come here for a change.
So now, Lou and Sparks need my help. So now, Red's forgotten. There's just me. I asked them. I wasn't good enough to help you handle it while she was alive. But I'm good enough to help you kill her. They say however you want to put it. What am I going to do? Leave? Let them figure this out for themselves? No. I stay. I stay because if I don't, they'll mess it up. It'll be even worse of a spectacle. Well, Lou and Sparks are happy this is my answer. They smile and open their mouths. I stop them. I tell them, don't think I've forgiven you. Don't ever think that. Don't ever think that I will ever forgive you. Well, this they're not so happy about. But I tell them, go ahead. What's your question? They want to know. They want to know how to get her out there. To the rail yard tomorrow. Through all those people. Without all hell breaking loose. I think. And I tell them. Tuskers aren't stupid. They know when something's up. Mary has to think it's a normal march. She can't go out there alone. She has to lead the parade like it's any other parade. Shadrach, Penny, Sue, little Mabel, one behind the other, walking trunk to tail like always. And then what? Then this. Then chain Mary's foot to the trap, underneath the crane, so she can't move. Then Lou, you lead the rest of the elephants away, fast, before they smell the panic on her. And somebody has to run her back, and tie the hanging chain around her neck. Someone she knows, and someone she trusts. They look at me like I'm crazy. Tell them to relax. Tell them I'll do it.
Finished the cake about midnight. Not a big one. Best I could manage. Had to fix something. Wasn't going to be the only woman empty-handed.
I couldn't stop thinking of the globe. It's like picking at a scab. I prayed for hours, but I closed my eyes and all I could see was theirs. It's glowing.
Stayed in my boxcar all night. Afraid to see what Shorty's face looked like.
Give her a peanut, a bat, pat in the trunk. Feed her bucket after bucket of whiskey water. Might help some tomorrow. That will make it work.
Shorty won't let anyone near her. So I wait till he falls asleep at her feet. Then I step over him, crawling into her tongue, stroking it. Mary cradles me, swinging me back and forth until I drift off. Ellie may stay up all night whispering under the covers. She asks if I read to her, and I do until she falls asleep. I go pee, and I hear crying through Ma's door. Crying? On the night before the best day ever. Can't figure her sometimes.
Stop by Walter's, make sure he's getting the band together for tomorrow. Whole thing won't seem right without some music. Irwin was lively that night. Bars crowded, streets full of trouble, what would normally be trouble. I walked up and down Main Street past every new drunk in town. Funny feeling. Never felt safer.
Stay up till 11 on with Carl and them. Drink until I have to be carried home. Then I just lie back with a big grin on my face. Can't sleep. Can't stop smiling. Imagine that. Going to the rail yard in the morning and couldn't be happier. The crane is oiled and tested. A small but appreciative crowd gathers at its feet to watch it swing its arm left and right, up and down. I smile. These who are here now, at midnight, they understand.
She's too mighty, too strong, too big. They'll see. Joke's gonna be on them.
She will call it tomorrow, the Heru. She will not let this happen. I must rest. I must be strong. She will call it.
You don't sleep. You think. You wish you could charge admission tomorrow, but this isn't your show. It's theirs.
could bear witness, to see the globe.
Men in the only seats they own, women in their Sunday best, prance around parasols like his Easter.
Never been so proud.
All of Irwin seems like all of Tennessee.
Quite a sight.
People rising out of the mud, standing on boxcars, top cranes, cool tipples,
Was sitting in the cab of my steam shovel, best seat in the house.
picnic baskets, beer and punch.
We were doing it up, right.
Everybody was sharing with everybody else.
I kept to myself.
Laughing, dancing.
Glow was brighter than the sun.
All the kids were play acting what was going to happen.
And we were about pissing ourselves.
Saw some men drinking.
I saw Carl and them having a good old time down there behind the caboose.
I took the bottle out of their hands, smashed it on the tracks. They looked at me like I was crazy, but I knew it was wrong. Wrong to sully the act with liquor.
It was gonna be something.
Acting to be pure, clean. I couldn't take it no more. My cake was long gone, and you could feel it. We were ready.
I told Walter to cut it.
You wait for the signal for Johnny Tinplate. You tell Shorty to go ahead.
Trucks up! The killer was in front. Them elephants marched out pulling each other's tails with their trunks, like a parade or a line of boxcars.
Why the hell they bring those other ones out?
They walked all through the rail yard and up to the crane, and the short guy chained the killer's foot to the train track. Now, Luke, now.
I grabbed Shadrach.
Then the other elephants were making the sound. Like the new monster laughed, the big one was gonna get it.
Get them out.
Funny sound.
Now.
Sounded kind of human.
Lord.
Like 20, 30 people going to fold up at the same time.
Come on, come on.
Ellie, you plugged our ears.
Finally got Shadrach and the rest of them out of sight.
Finally.
We took our fingers out.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Ready? Showtime, sweetie. Threw her hair right up her back.
Women were hiding their faces. Or pretending to.
We was afraid she was going to pick them up when we took like she did that red-haired fella.
She didn't seem spooked at all. The short guy hooked the chain around her neck, patted her back, and stood up.
The little man ran off when she was alone.
Mud between the folds of her skin.
She looked scary.
Helpless.
Confused.
Guilty.
Like a killer. Like a queen.
The marshal looked up the engineer and...
Time. The railroad controls time. And I made it stand still. All the masses waited below with held breath to see if it was possible. If the railroad could actually kill their elephant dead for them. I smiled. A reassuring smile. See, you can depend on the railroad. I placed my hand on the hanging lever. I gripped the handle hard, tasting those silent seconds, rolling them around in my mouth, knowing that this part, the before part, would be the best part of all. I threw the lever, and time started up again. The crane groaned, gears grinding, and
Damn! If that thing don't lift off the ground, an elephant for Christ's sake.
It rose up steady till it was standing on its hind legs. Tiptoe, toenails scraping the railroad track. Tiptoe, like it was doing a trick.
well, started clapping again. And I flashed a big smile down at Carl and them because they bet me there was no way in hell that elephant was ever leaving Mother Earth.
But then we started wondering why that thing wasn't going any higher up.
The gears sounded kind of stuck.
I got to thinking, maybe she's too heavy. Maybe 100-ton crane could lift 100-ton steel, not a 5-ton animal. Maybe an elephant's soul is too heavy. Maybe an elephant's soul is as heavy as the rest of her.
But that wasn't it.
No, it wasn't the crane. No, the crane could lift her. The crane could lift her fine.
It was a people problem, not a crane problem. See, people don't always remember so good. Even a big crowd of people, even thousands of people. People tend to forget the little details when they've got an elephant hanging in front of them. Nobody did. Nobody remembered to unhook her. Nobody remembered her foot was still chained to the railroad track. Her foot was still chained to the track.
So they were kind of ripping her in half a bit, pulling her leg at the screwed ankle, her leg trying to hold her down, while the rest of her was headed up.
Her leg broke. Bone about as big as my whole body. breaking. I could feel it in my spine. My spine buckled, ached in. Sympathy rang like a tuning fork. Ellie started crying.
Should have left then, I suppose.
Ellie wanted to leave.
But I stayed.
Baby?
Stayed to see him unhook her foot. Lift her up again.
Baby?
See her trunk flailing about. Stab in the air every which way, trying to grab a hold of something.
Baby?
I think she was nearly gone then. Or would have been soon.
No.
That is, if the chain hadn't broke.
No.
Would it broke?
No.
The chain around her neck broke.
No. See, it wasn't the crane. You know, the crane could lift her. The crane could lift her fine.
Mistake number 2. It was a chain problem, not a crane problem. Chain around her neck couldn't handle all that weight. Weakest link, right?
The chain popped, and she came crashing down on the railroad track. The sound of an oak tree cracking in half. I think she broke her hip. But Hanna went out of her. Couldn't seem to move. Couldn't get off her side. It was loose!
Free.
Then that little guy who climbed before started screaming like he was the one who fell down. He yelled out to somebody and they handed him a thicker link chain. I couldn't believe it. He just ran up there. His face was all red and twisted up, but he just ran up, hooked her up, and then ran off.
Nobody caught this time. It didn't seem. In fact, some people started leaving. Some of the women leaving the kids off anyway. Most stayed. I stayed. Stuck it out this far, I figured. So.
Crane lifted it off its feet again. Higher.
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 She made some noises. Some air just kind of popped out of her trunk. And then that was it. I let my breath out. I breathed in, lungs searching for that sanctified air. Waiting to be made clean. But the air, it tasted no different. It was flat and stale and rank. They hung that bitch for nothing. I still got mud on my shoes.
Made that crane keep swinging her for 20 minutes longer than they had to. Like townies were waiting for her to let loose a bellow and rip herself free. Something that big couldn't die, could it? Something that full of life? So they kept her up there. But she was long gone. History. And I know the instant she passed. Bad luck to break down with your trunk in the circus. First thing an elephant learns, never let your trunk droop. That's what they taught her. She didn't care about that anymore. Looks like I might need some diamonds after all.
Look at that thing swing. There are people in this here country that'll tell you we've become a small nation. A nation of little people with little dreams staring at the ground instead of the stars. But look at what we did here today and tell me that this country is dying. Look at what we did here today in Irwin and then tell me that there ain't no more dreamers. We hung a goddamn elephant today. An elephant. We made the impossible possible. So pack up your grip and go if you don't love this country. If you don't see the glory that surrounds you. If you want to stay in the mud. Because this is America, goddammit. And we can do anything we dream of. Anything at all.
This day goes for effortlessly. Oh. I could never look like that. I could never. It's right, Luce. Just to see. But I could not. Not even little Mabel. Not even Mabel. But there she is. Her star. swept off her feet by that. Mocks me. Mocks me. Mocks me.
I forgot about the rest of them. Everybody forgot. Once the crane set that poor beast on the ground, her sisters came lumbered back into the yard. Quiet, reverential, watched on right through the thousands of us gathered around like we were invisible. Stood over Mary and started pressing over their trunks, like they were calming her, soothing their spirit, paying their last respects. Then that little man came back into the yard, marched on right over to the biggest one of the mourners, petted her, whispered something in one of those huge ears of theirs, and let her out. I fell in behind, brought up the rear. Blow was gone. I had a feeling it was going to be crowded on Sunday.
I'm red lighting myself. I'll settle down somewhere. Work is due. But it doesn't really matter. Because I'll get older. And I'll die. And that'll be it. It's your show now, Shadow. My spark is up.
Mom and Ellie needed a suspicion that night. Wasn't the worst part, though. The worst part was the dreams.
Johnson City was in 2 days. We'd be ready.
Elephants got those brains like traps. Don't forget nothing. All those peanuts they eat, maybe. People got short memories. Let go of a memory just as soon as you give it to them. But not me. I eat peanuts. Stops it all from blurring together. Them colored boys let out to the yard must blur together something fierce, because nobody ever talks about how they hung colored boys in Irwin. They just talk about how they hung an elephant. Damn this thing. Damn this thing. Peanut?
Why? Why did the elephant cross the road? What did the banana say to the elephant? How can you tell if an elephant's sleeping? Why did the elephant quit the circus? How do you make an elephant disappear?
Thick mud. It's hard to bury a squirrel, much less a... I got a steam shovel. I can dig the hole. You hear? I can dig the hole. machines for in the first place, right? To help people? Make the job easier? What? What? I can dig the hole! I can dig the hole! Let me dig the hole!
You wake up the clowns. You wake up the clowns, and you put the shovels back in their hands. You tell them to dig her up. You tell them to dig her up and to saw off her tusks. You tell them to saw off her tusks and to bring them to you. You have to see what you can get for them. For the ivory, the tusks. An elephant is an investment.